Oliver yanked Maurice by the collar, so hard that the front of Maurice's shirt tightened around his neck. The desk behind them rattled as Oliver pulled him close enough that every breath shook between them. His fist hovered inches from Maurice's face, steady but full of intent, like he had already decided where that punch would land. Maurice did not raise his hands or step back. He just stared straight at him, calm in a way that made Oliver's grip shake harder. A few students froze mid-sentence, their eyes locked on the two of them, unsure if they should shout, move, or stay quiet. Oliver muttered, "Talk now." Maurice answered, "Release me." Oliver's jaw tightened. "Not until you learn." Maurice stayed still. "This is pointless." Oliver's nostrils flared. "You think you can ignore me?" Maurice breathed slowly. "I think you should stop." Oliver's fist twitched as if the swing was only one heartbeat away. No one intervened. Subscribe before we continue. Earlier that same day, Maurice sat at the back of the classroom, hoping to get through the lesson without drawing attention. He placed his notebook on the desk and kept his head down. Oliver leaned over from the next row and said, "New guy, look here." Maurice looked up. "What do you need?" Oliver tapped his knuckle on the desk. "You sit like you want to disappear." Maurice replied, "I am listening." Oliver smirked. "You sound stiff." Maurice said, "I am fine." Oliver nudged his chair forward. "You sure?" Maurice nodded. "Yes." Oliver tilted his head. "You look lost." Maurice replied, "I understand the work." Oliver asked, "Then answer this." Maurice shook his head. "Stop bothering me." Oliver let out a short breath. "You get annoyed fast." Maurice said, "I want quiet." Oliver grinned. "Too bad." Maurice stared forward again. "Leave it alone." Oliver leaned closer. "Why should I?" Maurice responded, "Because this is not worth your time." Oliver laughed. "You are new. That makes it worth my time." Maurice pressed his fingers together. "Then that is your choice." Oliver smirked again. "Exactly." Maurice slipped into the library, hoping the quiet would shield him from attention. He moved between shelves until he found a corner, placing his backpack beside him and opening a book. He tried to focus, letting the words settle in his mind. Then a familiar voice cut through the stillness. "Hey, Maurice," Oliver said, stepping around the shelves with that same smirk. Maurice looked up without a flicker of emotion. "Yes." Oliver leaned against the edge of the table, tapping a finger. "Studying hard or just hiding like a coward?" Maurice closed the book slowly. "Neither. I am reading." Oliver chuckled, circling the table. "Reading about what exactly?" "I mean, you look like you could use a guide on fitting in." Maurice kept his eyes on the pages. "I am not here to fit in. I am here to learn." Oliver grabbed another book from a nearby shelf and placed it on the corner of Maurice's table. "You think that will help? You probably can't even understand it." Maurice raised his eyes briefly. "I can understand more than you realize." Oliver laughed softly. "Oh, really? Prove it then. Tell me what page you are on." Maurice replied evenly. "Page 78. And yes, I know it well." Oliver leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You are pretending to be calm. Inside, I bet your head's spinning." Maurice did not flinch. "My head is clear." Oliver tapped the book again, thumping it against the table. "You know, some of us do this for fun. Watching you squirm would be fun." Maurice tilted his head. "I am not here to provide entertainment." Oliver smirked wider. "You think you are better than us, sitting there like that?" Maurice's eyes stayed steady. "Better or worse does not matter. Respect matters." Oliver's grin faltered for a fraction of a second. "Respect? From you? You have to earn it." Maurice nodded once. "Exactly. I understand that. And I will not disrespect anyone. Neither will I let disrespect pass." Oliver leaned back. scanning the room to see if anyone was watching. You got guts, I'll give you that. But don't think that means you are untouchable. Maurice closed the book fully and stood. I am not untouchable. I am cautious. You should try it sometime. Oliver followed him with his eyes as he walked past. Cautious? You mean weak? Morris's voice stayed calm. Cautious is strategy, not weakness. Something you clearly do not understand. Oliver muttered under his breath. Maurice ignored it and kept moving. A few students glanced up, some nodding slightly, others whispering. Maurice heard none of it, kept his composure, and left the library without another word. Behind him, Oliver's smirk remained, though it now carried a hint of frustration, and the silence that returned to the library was heavier, filled with the memory of their exchange. Maurice stepped into the hallway, his calm intact, knowing he had not just read a book but stood his ground in a space where intimidation thrived. Maurice walked toward the basketball court, the sound of bouncing balls echoing off the walls. He wasn't looking to play, just to stretch his legs and clear his head. As soon as he stepped onto the edge of the court, a familiar voice rang out. Well, if it isn't Maurice," Oliver called, spinning the ball on one finger with a casual grin. Maurice kept walking, eyes straight ahead. "What do you want?" he asked, voice calm. Oliver bounced the ball a few times and blocked Morris's path. "You think you can just stroll past me?" Morris's hands curled lightly, but he didn't react physically. "I don't want trouble," he said quietly. Oliver laughed, letting the ball drop to the floor with a sharp thud. "Trouble follows you wherever you go. You think you're safe just because you read a few books and walk tall." Maurice tilted his head. "I don't think about safety. I think about fairness." Oliver's grin faltered for a second. "Fairness? Life isn't fair. You're new, soft, and too careful. That makes it easier to push you around." Maurice stopped for a brief moment. Being careful is strength, not weakness. Oliver dribbled the ball closer, tapping it against Morris's foot. "Strength, huh? I haven't seen it yet. Show me." Maurice exhaled slowly, maintaining his calm. "I don't have to show you anything. Actions speak louder than words." Oliver shook his head. "Words are easier for you, aren't they? You don't fight. You just talk. So far, it doesn't impress anyone." Maurice met his gaze steadily. "Then maybe the right people will understand when it matters." Oliver bounced the ball harder. "You sound like you're hiding behind your head, thinking logic will save you. You're wrong. It won't." Morris's voice stayed even. "Logic keeps me prepared. That's enough for now." A group of students gathered at the edge of the court, sensing the tension. One whispered, "This is about to blow up." Oliver ignored them. "You're too quiet. It annoys me." Maurice tilted his chin. "Being quiet is better than saying something you'll regret." Oliver scoffed. "Regret doesn't come from strength. It comes from failure. You failed to react so far." Morris's jaw tightened. "I haven't failed. I am choosing when and where to respond." Oliver let out a short laugh. "Choosing? You're just afraid." Maurice replied calmly. "Afraid of what? I know what I can handle." Oliver dribbled one last time and straightened up. "We'll see, new guy. You might get tested today, whether you like it or not." Maurice nodded slightly. "If it happens, I will deal with it. Until then, step aside." Oliver stared at him for a moment, a mix of frustration and curiosity crossing his face, before he finally let Maurice pass. Maurice moved forward, ignoring the muttered jeers behind him, holding his composure. As he left the court, he felt a quiet confidence growing, knowing that standing firm without retaliation often spoke louder than any fight could, and that patience could sometimes be the most powerful move of all. Maurice stepped into the bathroom, hoping for a moment of quiet before his next class. The tiles were cold under his shoes, and the hum of the fluorescent lights filled the space. As he moved toward a sink, the door slammed shut behind him, Maurice froze. "Oliver," he called, voice calm but wary. A shadow shifted near the stalls, and then Oliver emerged, blocking the exit with a grin. "Thought you could get away, huh?" he said, his voice low and sharp. Maurice held his ground. "I don't want trouble. Let me out." Oliver's grin widened. "Oh, this isn't trouble. This is a lesson. You need to learn it." Maurice narrowed his eyes. "A lesson? You are the one who needs to stop." Oliver stepped closer, the space shrinking between them. "Stop. I'm just getting started." Maurice adjusted his stance. "There's nothing to get started on. Step aside." Oliver shook his head. "You think you can just walk past me every time? You think I'll let it slide?" Morris's voice stayed steady. "I am not here to slide. I am here to leave." Oliver leaned in, smirking. "Leave? You think leaving fixes anything? You need to face this." Maurice exhaled slowly. "I am facing it. I am standing here without attacking." Oliver tapped a finger on the sink. "That's your strategy? Doing nothing?" Maurice shook his head. "I am choosing when to act. That is not nothing." Oliver laughed quietly, a sound that didn't reach his eyes. "Choosing? You mean hesitating? Hesitation can get you hurt, you know." Maurice met his gaze without flinching. "I am aware of the risk. That doesn't change my choice." Oliver's grin faltered, just slightly. "You think you're better than me? Smarter?" Maurice tilted his head. "Better or smarter isn't the point. Control is." Oliver's jaw clenched. "Control? You think I care about control?" Morris's voice remained calm. "You are proving my point. Losing control is the problem here." Oliver stepped even closer, tilting his head. "And what will you do if I push it too far?" Maurice exhaled, letting the words come steady. "Then I will act, but only when is necessary."